welcome to the Superhero Show. Welcome to 2016. We've been doing this show for 2 years now.
2 years too long, if you ask me.
Well, let's keep on going then. What are we going to be talking about today?
Shazam!
Excuse me?
So Shazam's coming out in 2019, so we thought we'd talk about it today.
Just to get ahead of that Shazam rush.
Only because there's a big gap, a casting gap in the middle of the film. So we've got Dwayne Johnson playing Black Adam. We know this, but we don't know who is playing Shazam. Yeah. So, and we've had quite a lot of feedback about it.
Loads, actually.
So we're going to say who we think should play the character, but let's start with who you think should play Shazam.
Shazam. Travis B has written in, "Hey guys, I think as far as physicality, the only person who beats The Rock is the Mountain, because mountains are bigger than rocks." He's not wrong. Hafthor Bjornsson. With that being said, he doesn't look the part, might not be able to act, and he'd probably be too busy beating world records to make a full movie. This is someone who's written in watching World's Strongest Man over Christmas, isn't it? Just going, what we need is just a man who looks like a mountain.
Yeah, that did come in on January the 2nd, the day after World's Strongest Man.
His chocolate orange going, yeah, it'll do. So my next choice would be Joe Manganiello. I never know how to say that. He has a big physicality to be somewhat on a par with The Rock, according to the Google. They are the same height. So he's got that as well. So Joe Manganiello, quite interestingly, also played Flash Thompson in the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies. He doesn't have any beard and he's not big and muscly, but that's the same dude. You would never think it.
That's good knowledge.
Yeah. I just know loads about Joe Manganiello, but I don't know how to say Joe Manganiello's name.
Do you want to do the second one as well, very quickly?
The second one is from Marcus, and he says, "My pick is Joe Manganiello from True Blood." This is strangely specific as well. Shave him, and he says, "Sorry, I'll compose myself. Shave him, and he'll have a baby face." So he's going to do Billy Batson as well. Shave him for those scenes. Plus, watch him on How I Met Your Mother, and you can see his goofy. I'm not going to watch. How I Met Your Mother. Thank you, Marcus High. No, so
I think you should read that as well as we're on a roll, just because I like hearing you say the name. So
Simon Hamilton has written in, and unsurprisingly, he said, "In my personal opinion, it has to be Joe Manganiello."
I don't think he said it.
I feel like I'm saying Mango Yellow. He's a decent actor, has the look of a superhero, and most importantly, he's got the size to go toe-to-toe with The Rock, making him arguably the best available choice. Well, 3 people have written in.
Well, no, I've got one as well. Mike has not picked Joe, so...
Oh yeah, look at you circumvent the problem by just calling him Joe.
No, this doesn't circumvent it, because it is actually someone whose name I've mispronounced on the show before, and we've been told off about it, so I'm going to do it right. So Mike says, when I first found out The Rock was playing Black Adam, the first person I thought could play Shazam was none other than John Cena. Not John Cena, as I said several times. Cena has the physicality to match The Rock, and he basically has a Superman gimmick in WWE. Now, I think having 2 WWE stars as main characters in a movie will make it look like a cheap WWE film, but I think a film like that could elevate Cena's acting career. What are your thoughts? Well, we're not here to elevate Cena's acting career.
That is not the remit of this show.
But I guess that would be fun, kind of for novelty value.
I think The Rock has turned into a real bona fide movie star as well. No reason he can't. Yeah.
He's in Trainwreck.
Was he good in that?
Yeah, he's funny in that.
Oh.
Has a good sex scene.
Yeah, well.
Let's hope that's not in Shazam. Right, who are your choices then?
Shazam.
Let's do this.
So our choices. My first one is someone who got very, very close to being in the DC universe in an earlier incarnation of it when George Miller was attached, is Armie Hammer, who once upon a time was going to be our Bruce Wayne Batman. I feel like he's just on the cusp of being a proper movie star and of being a really big star, and he needs that role. He's had a few misfires, Lone Ranger, Man from U.N.C.L.E. But if you look at him, he could do that role. He could be a superhero. He could be that leading man. I think he's just been unlucky with the projects he's been in, and I still think there's something out there for him. And I think bring him in.
Have you seen The Man from U.N.C.L.E.?
I haven't.
He's the best thing in it, I think.
Cool.
I think Henry Cavill's kind of the weak link. And again, I think with Lone Ranger, I thought he was good in Lone Ranger, and just you had Johnny Depp.
I think he's charismatic.
He's got something, I think. I'm still not sure. I'm still not convinced, but maybe this would be the role for him.
I don't want his best role, as good as it is, to be the Winklevi.
Because then you have to pick which one.
Both great performances.
All right, is that your?
That's my first pick.
My first one is someone who came very close to being a superhero in the Marvel universe, namely John Krasinski. We're both Krasinski fans.
Yeah.
Famously, Jim in the American version of The Office. He was very nearly Captain America. I think he was down to the last two. It's hard to imagine anyone else playing Captain America right now.
Yeah.
And there's a goofiness to him that maybe it would have been a more goofy Captain America. I don't know, but we're told this is going to be a slightly more light-hearted in tone superhero movie from DC.
The way they've described it is almost slightly out of the continuity of what they're doing with the JLA characters. And Shazam, in its history within the DCU, was kind of a different property, and they were pushed together and stuff. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see a more playful, whimsical tone to it.
Yeah, and he's equally though recently, because he's quite skinny in The Office, but recently he's been on the cover of quite a few fitness magazines.
Unbelievable.
Because he's making the move into kind of action. He's in the new Benghazi film that's out this month for Michael Bay, where he's playing a soldier.
Something like that was the director. The new Benghazi. Have you seen the new Benghazi?
So this could maybe launch him on a different kind of trajectory career. So I think that could be quite a good match.
He looks ridiculously good.
Yeah, he looks great.
Yeah.
That's my choice. That's my first choice.
Yeah.
Choice number two.
The next one, having a bit of this, Mark Wahlberg.
Mark Wahlberg.
A little bit more out there, but I quite like to see him go up against Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson as Black Adam.
Mm-hmm.
I think they work well together. And if it's going to have this playful tone, Mark Wahlberg is a very funny man.
He is.
And I could see him selling both the action and the comedy. Obviously, he's tied up in Transformers, and it feels like they're going to keep on making them forever. But I'd like to see him branch out and do something else. And I think he's a funny guy on camera. And if they're going for that more playful tone, a bit more Guardian style that's been muted, I'd be up for seeing Wahlberg.
Chris Pratt. Would the size discrepancy not be an issue? Will it just not look too silly to have those two guys going toe to toe?
I think that's a problem you're going to face with most people against The Rock. That's the thing.
Not Joey M. They're the same height.
They're the same height, but The Rock is as wide as he is tall. He's a square.
Yeah.
He is a square. He's a square of muscle.
Yeah.
But yeah, you don't get that problem with Joe Manganiello.
You don't. Or Joe Manganiello. That's what I'm going to go with.
Mango Yellow.
That might be wrong. All right, my second choice is Nathan Fillion, who came close to playing Ant-Man, so we're led to believe.
Rumour for lots of things.
Who I need to apologise to, because I did one night tell him quite drunkenly that he wasn't famous enough to be Ant-Man, and his brother was with him and was egging me on and laughing, and it was quite sad. He was kind of saying, "Yeah, I know, I'm not famous enough." He was quite sad about it.
Because he feels like he's in danger of all these roles passing him by now, and never really get one. Oh, he's got his TV gig that's
he's Castle. Yeah. But you just watch Firefly. That's a superhero. He's so charismatic, and he's got this twinkle in his eye, as Mal in Firefly and Serenity. And I was worried. I was thinking, oh man, is he too old at this point? And then I looked him up. He's just a year older than Dwayne Johnson, so they're about right. And if it's going to be a real man, that Billy Batson turns into, then I think you could do a lot worse than him. And maybe he doesn't have the star power, but Dwayne does. So you could maybe cast someone that isn't as box office friendly.
It's a really tricky role to cast, I think, and especially with the tone they're going for, lack of, I guess, greater awareness of the character, and it has this kind of more kind of fantasy tone to it. It's a tricky one.
What about I throw a curveball at you to end this?
Okay.
What about Dwayne Johnson in both roles? Shazam and Black Adam.
Double Rock.
Yeah.
Or,
Twin Peaks. Is that a terrible idea? Yeah, it's probably a terrible idea. I'm sorry, everyone.
Yes, because the rumor was he turned down the role of Shazam and wanted Black Adam.
Well, I feel like he was probably in discussions for both roles, and they decided that this was the better role.
Yeah, I think it'd be too confusing for most people, but I think he could do it. I think he could do anything. He's a mountain. Yeah,
we're not going to argue with him. If he wants to do it, you can. Dwayne, if you want to do it, you can do both roles. Excellent. Right. And we're not finished, are we?
No.
Because we are going to cast Billy Batson.
There's two roles, isn't it?
Yes.
So it's a kid who, when says Shazam, he turns into Shazam. I'm going to go for, so with this shooting, we were thinking of shooting in 2017.
We reckon if it's coming out 2019, there's normally about 2 years now between a superhero movie getting shot and coming out, isn't there?
Yeah, so I was trying to think of like what kid I would like to play it and who's been really good and really impressed me in recent years. And the little kid who's much younger at the time in Looper in 2012, Pierce Gagné, I think he's called. He's really good in that movie. Obviously, very different performance than what you need from Billy Batson. He's quite sinister in Looper, but in 2017, I think about 13, 14. So I think right sort of age range.
Yep.
I think he's just, based on Looper alone, I think he's just a really good actor.
Yeah.
So I think you need that with kids, because I recently watched the documentary about the making of The Phantom Menace and Jake Lloyd, and it's the problem with kid actors is you just don't know what you're going to get from them each day and how much time you're going to like spend coaxing a performance. And based on Looper, this kid's got something special.
Interesting, good choice. I'm going for Jacob Tremblay, who, going a little bit younger, if they decide to go in a younger direction for Billy Batson, he'll be 10 next year. He is the kid in Room, and if anyone's seen Room, you'll know how good he is. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets an Oscar nomination this year. He's that good.
Wow.
But it's a very serious, very heavy role. There's a lot of acting. But if you've seen him at all in interviews or on the red carpets in the last couple of months, you see that he's got this really great personality. He seems like a real kid rather than a stage school kid. So I think that combination, he's just going to be a huge star. Like, he's got 4 films coming out this year. All pretty big films, reasonably large roles.
I had nothing when I was 9.
No. What did you have?
I wore my pajamas to school one day and did a production of The Night Before Christmas, and I was the narrator. Did that.
I think I remember seeing that.
Well, I got good reviews. That's about it. I just didn't like. I retired after that.
Cool. Can we stop talking about you and talk about
Jacob?
Jacob?
You asked.
Okay.
You asked.
I didn't think you'd go on about it. So that's my choice. Job done.
Good.
Jacob Tremblay.
Good.
So, yeah, we cast Shazam today.
Easy. First episode back. Shazam cast.
But let us know who you think should play both those roles. What's the email address?
superhero@ign.com.
Brilliant. And we have some emails that came in over the Christmas period. I'm going to kick off with one from Liam Crossy, who says, now I don't normally read these out, but I liked this one, so I'm going to. Okay. I really love the superhero show. It's just all around an awesome show. Is there any way we can nominate it for some kind of award so it deserves some proper recognition? What a lovely thought. We don't know.
I don't know.
But
if you could look into it, like, we'd be behind it.
Because we give out awards every year. It'd be nice if someone gave us an award, so... Yeah, he goes on to say, what superhero moment are you most looking forward to in 2016? I can't help but hold a tie between my 2 most anticipated moments, Daredevil and the Punisher duking it out for the first time, and some of the amazing jokes that will surely be present in Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. I think, is that ironic? Yeah. Is that sarcastic?
Our second trailer is that laugh a minute.
Yeah, some jokes.
2 minutes long.
Daredevil and Punisher is going to be cool. So what are you most looking forward to? I'm really worried because I only asked Dan just before and he knew straight away. I'm worried we might have the same one. But let's hear it. Oh, look at that.
It might be straying slightly into spoiler territory. Everything's a spoiler. There's some concept art out about it, and also there's a couple of toys released, pictures of forthcoming toys that were released in the last week that point towards it. It's in Civil War. It's when Scott Lang... Is it the same one? There's 2 ones.
Yeah, there is 2 ones, but I know which one I'm thinking of. Go on, you do your one.
I'll go for the one... I think I'm going to go for this one. It's when he becomes Giant Man.
Yeah?
Because I just think that's going to be so weird in that movie. Because everything we've seen on that movie is the serious one. If you saw the D23 footage, like we saw it, or you saw it maybe leaked online, you see that Scott Lang turns up and is quite funny at one point, adds comic relief. It's going to be very weird for that character to be however many feet tall they make him at the airport scene. I assume it's the airport scene. That's going to be a very surreal moment in that movie and could be really funny, I think.
Yeah, I mean, my choice is if it happens in the movie when Scott Lang turns into Giant Man, so that's ideal. So you've messed me up now.
Well, I didn't know whether you were going to go for the other bit of concept art where...
Yeah, that would be good, but Giant Man more. Maybe Professor X's hair falling out. Is that wrong? Is that wrong?
Looking forward to that.
Am I going to hell? Right.
Is that Apocalypse's plan?
Yes. It's follicle based.
Briar Creaser writes in, hey Briar, with the trend being 3+ movies of a character, then also having the character being tied up into group films, where do you see, or at least hope to see Spider-Man go in the MCU? Personally, I hope for movie 1, Kraven the Hunter as villain, and an introduction to Gwen Stacy and Flash Thompson, having the Venom symbiote show up in the after credits or as an Easter egg. Movie 2, Venom and Carnage, having Venom be the antagonist for a period of time, then Carnage drawing both Spidey and Venom's interests. Have we seen a compelling 3-person battle in the MCU? For what I remember, the stories are usually very black and white with only 2 factions. After Spider-Man wins, I would like to see the symbiote accidentally make its way to Flash in post-credits. Hello, Agent Venom. All right, so that's something in the comics at the moment. Flash Thompson is the new Venom. Movie 3, Goblins and Spider-Verse. Hello, Spider-Gwen. Hello, Miles.
I like that. It's got it mapped
all
out.
planned now. You've got to have a 3-picture plan at the moment.
I put that in because I thought that sounded like a really good trilogy that I'm more than down for.
Yeah.
Let's see Venom done right.
I hope they do, like, play with all the stuff that we've not seen before. I don't want to see another Green Goblin.
No. So, I've got some names to throw at you now. Mike Frost writes in, and it's about the Batman reboot. So he says, with the reboot of Batman, I've been thinking about who I would like to see play the iconic villains and allies. I was wondering what you think. So I want your opinion on each of these. Mike, this could be bad or this could be good.
Batman allies, okay.
So for Mr. Freeze, David Thewlis.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Riddler, Benedict Cumberbatch.
The Riddler's so hard. I think he should be really annoying in it. I think that's the problem with the Riddler in general, just how to make him not annoying.
So we've got a yup and an annoying. Yeah. Just one word for each of these.
Oh, okay, just one word. Yeah, there's quite a lot in there, I can see.
Yeah, there is quite a lot.
Okay.
Poison Ivy, Olivia Wilde.
Yes.
That was too excited. The Penguin, Paul Giamatti.
Yes.
The Scarecrow, Jonathan Rhys-Meyers, I guess. Yeah.
Not scary enough.
If you say it quickly, it sounds like one word. Two-Face, Jason Clarke.
Yes.
The Mad Hatter, Simon Pegg.
Yes.
Firefly, Giovanni Ribisi.
Don't know who that is.
He is... Well, he's in loads of stuff, but everyone always says that he's the guy. He's What's Her Chop's brother in Friends, Lisa Kudrow's brother.
Oh, right, yeah.
You know him, the weird...
Oh, that's it.
The guy from Ted.
They put him in for Firefly because there's an episode of Friends where he likes setting stuff on fire. His character in Friends likes melting things.
Oh, didn't know you were Mr. Friends.
I'm a big...
Black Mask...
Mr. Friends.
Black Mask, Mark Strong.
Yes.
Deathstroke, Stephen Lang.
Yes.
Red Hood gang leader, David Morrissey.
Yeah, why not?
You're just saying yes now.
Yeah, it's easier, isn't it?
Anarchy, Norman Reedus.
Yep.
Now, I've got a problem here because I don't know who some of these people are coming up. Catwoman. I don't know if this is a person. Catwoman, Cote de Pablo. Any idea?
I don't know what that is.
Question mark. Batgirl, Karen Gillan.
Yeah.
Awesome. Red Robin, Drew Roy.
Just two first names.
No. What about Deep Roy? Damian Wayne, Chandler Riggs.
Yeah, Rip Torn.
Chandler Riggs? No idea. Finally, Nightwing, Taylor Kitsch.
Yeah.
Okay, I think you got a lot of yeses there, Mike, to the people we knew who they were, and we're going to Google Cote de Pablo afterwards, but I'm guessing that's a yes.
Final bit of feedback is from J Sal. I think the second superhero show you have uploaded on YouTube, a fan had said Dan Stevens would be good for Brian Braddock. I've never actually heard of Captain Britain, to be honest. Another fan last week, or the week before, said he'd make a good Green Arrow, and of course we know you guys would like him to be Iron Fist.
Fist Dan Stevens.
I understand us championing an actor/actress for a role doesn't necessarily mean they will have a chance of being cast in that role. Definitely doesn't. But it seems Dan Stevens would be well suited to a lot of characters. I've only seen him in The Guest, but because of that, I want to see him as a villain, not a hero. But saying that, he could be great in most roles. Just a good actor then.
Yes.
We're saying he's good at like pretending to be different things. That's what we're getting at, isn't it?
Before we came up with Fist Dan Stevens, I did actually ask him about Captain Britain, and he kind of laughed at me at first because I said, "Look," I was holding up pictures of him saying, "Look, you look like him," and he was wearing a mask in the picture. He's like, but But yeah, I think we were championing for Captain Britain before the Iron Fist thing got announced because. But there's no Captain Britain film. I don't know why we're championing for a film that doesn't exist.
I just like that we're making it happen. We made Doctor Strange happen.
Yes,
and we can claim that forever. That definitely happened.
And we've just made Shazam happen. So
yeah. And Dan Stevens will eventually be cast in something related to a Marvel.
that we can take credit for.
Yeah, we will. So yeah, thank you very much for your emails. We always really appreciate you writing in. I also like it when people say where they're writing from. That's always really interesting. You can send us a message anytime, superhero@ign.com. And until next week, for everything related to superheroes, stay right here on IGN.